Welcome to Face, the program
that frontally discusses
political and social issues in Nigeria. The weekly program brought to you on Wednesday by 6 p.m. Nigerian time, anchored by Prince Ewemade Concourse, powered by GCSDN.
Join us.
Evening and welcome to today's edition of Face to Face program. We are going to be discussing about issues surrounding if Nigeria should separate or go back to the old regional arrangement. The topic is, should Nigeria be divided or have a confederated state with regional ministers? The ongoing debate in Nigeria regarding its political structures has sparked discussion about whether the country should remain united or move towards a confederated state with regional prime ministers. There are different viewpoints among Nigerians on this matter. Some argue that Nigeria should be divided into 6 geopolitical zones, each with autonomy to develop at its own pace. This approach would allow for more focused development strategies tailored to specific need of each region. On the other hand, there are those who advocate for a complete division of Nigeria, with each region going its separate ways. Proponents of this view believe that the current political system is not serving the best interests of all Nigerians, and that a division will allow for a greater self-governance and cultural preservation. Ultimately, the decision on whether Nigeria should be divided or adopt a confederated state with regional prime minister is a complex and multifaceted issue that required careful consideration of the country history, diversity, and future aspiration. It is crucial for all stakeholders to engage in a constructive dialogue and seek common ground in order to move forward in a manner that promotes unity, progress, and prosperity for all Nigerians. So we want to get your opinion on this issue, because this is a very sensitive topic when it comes to the issue of separating Nigeria as a nation. Since many groups have been over the years asking for self-determination, which is their right, their constitutional right to do so. We do not want Nigeria to be separated through violence. We understand very well that the 1914 amalgamation of Nigeria, the forum that the Nigeria as a nation was formed, which was the agreement that was drafted in 1914, simply spelled out that after 100 years, if any part of the country wish to cede from Nigeria, there should be some kind of referendum or come to a round table. But 100 years expired in 2014. Here we are in 2024. People are still asking for separation. We have people, for instance, there have some group that just declared the Republic of the Yoruba Nation, which they registered in the UK and also registered in the US. And also we have the Biafran, who has been advocating since the Civil War that they want to, get out of the union of Nigeria, the union of the country called Nigeria. So we want to get your opinion on this topic, because it's very sensitive and it's dear to some of us. Because we also have, for me, I have a different view from most of our Nigerian brothers and sisters who are, advocating for separation of the country. I'm going to bring in my guest, a regular contributor. Emmanuel is also part of this program, so we can discuss this topic today, because it's very interesting. Let me bring Chief MD to the studio. Chief MD, you are welcome to the studio, as usual. How are you? You need unmute. Unmute yourself.
Oh yes, apologies. Yeah,
that's fine.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm very grateful for being part of this discussion as usual. It's a privilege and honor. And this is a discussion I've been meaning to have with your audience, or rather our audience, to share a solid viewpoint. And thank you for giving us the space to discuss it. Thank you.
Thank you. If you are just joining us on this program, please share the video, share it, and like as well. Share it so other people can also hear the opinions of our wonderful brothers and those who also will be contributing through a message on our various platforms. The topic is: should Nigeria be divided or have a confederated state with regional prime minister? What is your take? What is your opinion on this, Chief MD? Let's hear your opinion.
I'm somebody who used to believe in Nigeria till recently. I think as a country, and unless the wicked-minded people will say A or nay, and this might shock many people, I think as a country we are not functioning. As a country, we are neither united or even culturally aligned. We're not. We're not culturally aligned. We are not binded. We are just different. The North and South are very, very different people. Even the North and the East are so very different people. And we have to be honest about it. And we have to be honest about it to also be able to address how we can coexist in an honest way, or go our separate ways. You know, if you really look at it, even in marriages, it get to a point where in marriages they dissolve and people go their separate ways when things are not working, let alone a forced together arrangement. Nigeria is an arrangement. The whole word of amalgamation is an arrangement. It's an arrangement that the average Nigerians in the South, in the North, in the East are not part of. And even if you look at the amalgamation in 1914, the first prime minister, Alhaji Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, what did he say about it? He did not believe in it. And he said southern people are intruders who were not welcome in the North. He did not believe in it. And today, you can see majority of the people in the North feel like they own Nigeria. Majority of the people in the East feel like they are not part of Nigeria. An average Eastern person, even somebody that even lived outside Nigeria for the longest, will tell you they are not Nigerian. Because they don't see the benefit of seeing themselves as a Nigerian. But you see an average Northerner say they own Nigeria. And you see somebody from the South, let's say Southwest, they are indifferent. They are just indifferent. We are not one country. We're not. The last president, when he was a military dictator, an opportunity to appoint a Nigerian in a position, I think it was the AU or some international position. What did he do? Because he's an Igbo man and a Christian, instead, he's the only president that voted for a non-Nigerian who's a Fulani Muslim person who is not for another country, instead of his own fellow Nigerian. And that's the point. That makes us not one Nigeria. As simple as that. And he came in to become a civilian leader, and all he did, he took the country 100 years back in education, in economy, in civility, in interaction. Even went as far, the first president to say he will only look out for those who voted for him. Not like, oh, I'm now the president. Even though if you vote for me or you did, I'm your president. Basically, those who voted for him will reap the benefit of his administration. All the security underneath him, the security went worse. Not for the southern or the eastern people, for even the northerners. All the 6 major security officers were Hausa Fulani, but the security in the north went worse. They are able to trace the NSAS users, their account, their phone number, but they're not able to trace one terrorist who is kidnapping, demanding money, collecting money in one Nigeria. 80% of during his administration, almost 90% of those people in his administration, ministers and everything, are all Hausa Fulani or Northerners in general, the ambassadors and everything. And we have the most colossal failure of epic proportion. Even the North suffer more underneath his administration. He closed the border in the south because of cheap importation of rice, chicken, and everything, all in the pretense of security. Is there security issue at the border in Lagos? But open the border in the north, the porous border in the north, where people were bringing in everything through the north. Niger, Mali, even Burkina Faso, all the neighboring northern country into Nigeria, and nothing. Whereas it starved the people in the south. All in the falsehood that, oh, they want to grow the market in the north for rice, or the rice farmers in the north. They gave them free loan, which they never pay back. And then still the cost of food went off the roof. You know how terrible that is. Even till now, they still haven't opened the border fully in the south for no reason. You block the border from the south for importation of goods and services, for goods, with the pretense that because not like you give them the incentive in the north, you destroy the economic base of people in the south to overly rely on the north. Not because of anything else, but just for callous wickedness. You can still buy a bag of rice for cheaper proportion in the north than you buy in the south. This is evil. I'm one of those who are beginning to see it differently. I strongly believe if Nigeria must continue, we must reimagine the relationship of our amalgamation. And if we are not willing to do that, we have to go our separate ways. Do you know that some Yoruba people who have declared the Yoruba nation, who want to secede? The Igbos have been saying that for long. So my own question is this: what is keeping us together? What exactly is the purpose of us remaining one Nigeria? What is the goal? Because an average Northerner feels it is birthright to rule. The average Igbo doesn't feel it's a Nigerian. The average Yoruba person right now are disillusioned. They don't know if they want to remain in Nigeria because Tinubu is the president or not. And most people in the south, like from Edo State all the way to Port Harcourt Delta, just don't give it that much either. We are not one Nigeria at all. This is what is happening. 8 years of Buhari, it did something so dangerous that right now nobody can even question Tinubu, because Tinubu is doing exactly the same thing. All the key positions, Buhari put Hausa men, and they all fell woefully. Put Fulani men, all failed, from central bank, from chief security and every other places. And the places where he put the Southerner, he didn't allow them to function. Apart from doing what he wants, to pay and withdraw money. Look at when Emefiele in central bank. How can Emefiele steal that much and the sitting president don't know? The finance minister don't know. They spent in 1 month for feeding the woman, human resources or welfare something minister. That woman is the biggest thief I ever know. Spend over 5 billion within a month for feeding. Nobody know where they fed. And then there's a position that was sent to Nigeria through, I think it's their human resource something for in the international position. I don't want to give it away. She kept that position for herself.
Thank
Those one
you.
position is dominated by a northern man or woman who are grossly incompetent. They produce nothing, not even to their state. Nothing. Not even giving a return back to their state, let alone in Nigeria. If you were to count 100 richest people, either legitimately or not in Nigeria, I can assure you 80% of those richest people will be from the north, who have made their money from the Nigerian government, stealing, embezzling from Nigerian government, and giving nothing back to their own state, let alone the nation. No businesses, no corporation, nothing. They steal the money, put it abroad. Go and then the Igbo people who wants to go to their state to start up a business, they're the one turning, financing people against them. Most of the hotels in the east, in the north, are owned by a southern. Look at the nail business. There's a nail business. There's a guy in the north. I have one of the biggest nail business. I think it was in Kano also. It was dominant to the point whereby the state find a way that how can an Igbo man become this dominant selling nail iron in that, and then brought in a state one just to disturb and kill his business. Look at what the former minister of aviation almost did to Air Peace, an Igbo man. Instead, they went all the way to go and meet a Muslim somebody in a different country, gave them everything with tax incentive, with tax break, with money, with everything. And we have Air Peace who fly them to Dubai during Ramadan, who went during the problem in South
Africa. Yeah.
Who went ever with a plane. Now you're telling me that same person does not have the capacity. Because if there was an Hausa man with a solid airline that could challenge that, they would have given it to him. But there's not. So instead of giving it to an Igbo man, they went to go and bring one. Is it Ethiopia? Be one airline, one Muslim country, this thing to come and run the international route.
Ethiopia, they brought an Ethiopia airline here. Ethiopia
airline, a Muslim person, an airline run by Muslim people. Not because that person is a Nigerian. An average northerner identify more with a foreign Muslim than they identify with their fellow Igbo or their fellow Yoruba. An average Muslim northerner do not see you as a legitimate Nigerian because you are not a Muslim and you're not an Hausa person. What was the problem with Tinubu, a Yoruba person who married non-Muslim? They had problem with him. That is not Muslim enough. And people think, this is it. People think, I'm sorry, this is really passionate. Go and look at the election results. Many of the northern states vote for Atiku. They did not support Tinubu. Majority of the northern states supported vote for Atiku. And that's a fact. So we are not one Nigeria. When Buhari ran the first time, the second time, many of the southern states supported him. They didn't look at him as a Muslim or another man. Those APC who believe in APC supported and voted for him. And he won many states.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Holistically, if you look at the current happenings in Nigeria, one will begin to wonder if we are actually one nation, united under God. Like what you just explained to my audience now. Yes, there's quite a lot of challenges when somebody from the north is in power. All they do is to try to bring in everybody from the north to form a cabinet, which is against the ethics of the civil servant or the civil service rather, where you are supposed there's a word for it, where you're supposed to have each ministers from each geopolitical zone. Your cabinet, you're supposed to pick people from the 36 states, including the federal capital. But we saw that during the regime of Buhari, General Buhari. Now, the same thing is playing out when somebody from the southwest, a Yoruba man, is in power. And everyone always wants somebody from their region. So when you look at all these things, it shows that we are not really united as one nation the way it ought to be. Because an Igbo man want an Igbo president, Yoruba man want an Yoruba president, Hausa man want an Hausa president. What about the rest minority tribes that is in Nigeria? People like Edo, we who are from the Edo, we were the largest. Edo Kingdom was the largest in West Africa, all the way to Dahomey. We don't complain. We never ask for Edo president. All we want is the unity of Nigeria, for Nigeria to prosper, so everybody can benefit from what God has and blessed the country with. But that's quite different from other tribes, And also, when you look at it from a different perspective, yes, there's quite a lot of issues why we need to separate Nigeria. There's quite a lot of things we can start naming list, right? Listing them today. We might not end this program till 3-4 days later. There's quite a lot of lists of things that is going on that is not going well. The reason why we should separate Nigeria. But however, let's look at it from a different angle. For example, you from Edo State, you're married to somebody from Kaduna, and you have kids. So when Nigeria separates, if for paraventure Nigeria go their separate way, so what will not happen to your kid? Oh, their father is from Edo and their mother is from Kaduna. What would then happen to them?
They will choose a preference of where their father decides to claim or stay.
So these are some of the
These are simple things. It's the
no, it's not simple. It's not as simple as the way you think.
Let me finish now.
Okay,
we have that already.
Yeah.
Me and you live in UK. There are people who married English people who are white or black and stuff like that. There are people in UK who even marry other Africans or other Europeans or other South Americans.
Yeah.
You understand? Both male and female. And let me be specific. Nigerians in UK, I know and you know, who married white, black, and non-Nigerian and non-African, but they claim a place.
Yeah, but that's different. But that's different. That's different because they know before they went in. That's different, unlike a nation that is completely together. All of a sudden, they go in their separate ways.
Even in Nigeria, till today, people they still put it in the application until they remove that on the application. State of origin.
Yeah.
It means even though if you are born in the north, or you are born in Lagos, in the south, or in the east, but your origin is from the north or somewhere else, you are still supposed to go there and claim that state of origin, because even though you have no relationship with that state. So at the moment you are, even though you are third generation in the north, they still don't see you as a northerner, because you are an Igbo person, you are a Yoruba person. In in the same, go and look at what Tafa Balewa said after the amalgamation. Even while he was the prime minister, he considered the whole of the South, most especially, as invaders. He was against it. How can there's some parts in the north. If you are not from the north, you are not allowed to buy property, land. And you are one Nigeria. Look at Obama, or look at this thing now in Kamala Harris. People are celebrating Kamala Harris and everything. Look at what happened in South Africa. Let's just go back to that. Africa, we're not at that level yet. Look at what happened to their Nigerian Chidinma, was the name of South Africa. Yeah. She was born in South Africa. She has a South African citizenship by birth. The father is Nigerian, the mother is from somewhere else. They are saying she's not even South African to contest. The stupid bastard people then voted and gave a white European French person as a true more South African than Chidinma. So what are we talking about? In Nigeria today, you and I, can you say you can go to Lagos State and run and become a councillor? Or can you go to Kano and run for an elected office as a councillor? I'm not even talking, I'm just saying local councillor. Let alone local chairman, let alone House of Rep, let alone even governor. Or even get to a top job in the north. They will tell you are not a northern, you are not from the state, you are not the Muslim, you are not that. How can you say we are one Nigeria? Do you know why a lot of the southerners in the north became industrious? Because they had no choice. They become business industrious people because they have no choice. The capacity, the opportunity for them to excel was not there. They became creative and become a survivor. For you to know we are not one Nigeria, not even look at what happened in Lagos State with Labour Party candidates. Even though the father is taught for trace his history, Badebo, of Yorubaness, because the mom is Igbo, they are saying it's not Yoruba. It became an issue, or it's not Yoruba enough. It's not Yoruba enough. Look at initially what Asweleme Doctor Asweleme of PDP, Ogudalo of PDP. Initially, I was one of those who vehemently against it, spoke against it. The guy, his mother is Yoruba. He grew up in Lagos. Some people are saying it's not Edo enough. It's not Esaman enough. What does that mean? But Aswe should be able to claim Lagos State because he grew up there and be able to contest in Lagos State as a governor of Lagos State. He didn't have to come to Edo State. But if you wanted to, because you have the right to, because it's the state of origin. So what are we talking about? We are not united. If we really want to, this is what I'm saying. We have to reimagine. We have to reimagine being together. The first thing we need to remove and make it constitutionally illegal is state of origin. It should be state of residence.
Thank you.
If you have resided in a place or born in a place, you can claim that state. I'll give you a good example. My niece, right? My niece was born in Lagos. The father and mother born in Lagos, right? She wanted to go to Lasso to study medicine. She's lived Lagos all her life. They told her those courses are reserved for indigene. To enter LASU to study medicine. Not only that, they also are to read. Not that you also have to be a Yoruba indigene Muslim to get.
Thank you. Let me stop you there. Thank you so much. If you are just joining this program, please, we want to get your comment or your opinion on this topic for today. Should Nigeria be divided or have a confederated state with regional prime minister? Let's say, for example, we have 6 geopolitical zones. We have prime minister from each region, like the way it was back then during the Western and the Midwestern region, and whereby every region we're developing. That was how Awolowo was able to develop the Southwest. Because looking at the current state of things in Nigeria today, it is not working. We just have elected Marundas, according to my friend, Chief MD. We just have elected Marundas who are just sitting there in the green chamber and the red chamber, saying A and nay. At the end of the day, collecting so much money without doing anything for it. There's nothing to show for whatever they are doing at the National Assembly. I think, in my own opinion, I think the National Assembly should be scrapped or should be a part-time job. Like Dr. Frederick always says, it should be a part-time job, because looking at the cost involved in running the Senate and the National Assembly, and there's no result. The masses, the poor people, the less privileged in society, they are not feeling anything from their elected leaders. So that's why you see the cry of people asking to go their separate ways. That takes me to the next question that I want you to answer for my audience, Chief MD. Why is it taking the Nigerian leader, the Nigerian government, Nigerian leaders, let me put it that way, irrespective of their political party, why is it taking them so long to revisit the 1914 amalgamation, which said 100 years from 1914, there should be a kind of referendum or people coming together to look into the union of Nigeria. If it's manageable, if there's need for them to continue to coexist, or if there's no need for them to continue to coexist. Why is it taking? Why are people shying away from talking about this issue of the 1914 amalgamation that expired precisely in 2014? In your own opinion, I want to get your opinion on that.
Because they're cowards. It will take a brave man to do it, but they coward. You know? Are you still there? Hello? Hello?
I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah.
Continue.
It's very simple. I'll say it again. An average Nigerian politician are cowards, the rest are thieves. That is the truth. No matter how hard they pray. The greatest disappointment of them all is the former vice president Oshibanjo, who was an ordained pastor and a legal man, a trained lawyer, and also the ordained pastor in Redeemed Bible Church. And for 8 years, he sat idle by beside Buhari and watch him destroy the country. No honor, no integrity, no value to even speak out and say, worst case scenario, I quit. What will happen if Oshibanjo decides, you know what, I'm not going to be part of this, I quit? Nothing. He would have stood a greater chance to even run against Buhari second time or this time. Say, no, you're useless. He's a coward. He's a coward. And the rest are thieves. No matter how much they pretend they pray 100 times a day or fast and everything, Ramadan time, what's it called? Easter time, Lent time, and all those stuff. The bloody thieves or cowards. And this is why we are not progressing anywhere. They are not speaking out against what is bad. They're not supporting what is good. Look at what the leader of House of Rep, look at the law. Among everything it could pass, it's a law to send people to 10 years or charge them 5 million if they did not sing the new national anthem. The question is, can he even sing it himself? Can he even sing it himself?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Before we continue, let me just quickly. Nigeria is really not, things are not easy with our brothers and sisters back home at this point in time. And that's why you can hear the voice of people from different quarters asking for separation or perhaps go back to the regional way. Look at this. Look at what I just put up. In August of 2014, look at what 1 million naira will give you in dollars. Can you see that? And in August of 2024, look at what 1 million will give you in dollars. Is that not sad?
It's beyond sad. It's depressing.
Pity for my country. Yes, well, in your own honest opinion, do you believe that division will serve in the best interest of all Nigerians, not just some certain individuals, in your own opinion?
It would. There's two ways we can do this, if we're to be realistic.
Yeah.
It's either we go back to regional control and regional prime minister. We have 6 geopolitical zone right now, if I'm correct.
6. Yeah, 6, yeah.
We should get rid of the House of Rep, have the Senate. Each regional zone should have their own House of Rep. That is it. The Senate is for the federal. So you have the office of the president, the office of the vice, and the Senate. And then the role of the vice president should be nullified because it should be limited to administrative. The vice president should be head of the Senate. So we don't have the vice president sit as head of the Senate. We don't have a senator becoming head of the Senate. Actually, constitutionally, that's what it's supposed to be. So the vice president sits inside the Senate, discussing laws and everything, making sure the administrative of the state works. That is the role of the vice. He head the Senate, sit and run the Senate. And then each region will have a prime minister, a deputy prime minister with their own House of Rep from those regions. That is it. And each region will have their own police, manage their own resources, and pay tax to the federal government. no more than 5%. The federal government cannot be richer than the region or the state. The 5% or 10% maximum paid to federal government is to only do one thing and one thing only: security. They have the DSS and the army, the custom and the Air Force. That's it. The DSS is the internal security force. The rest, army, Air Force, and every external security force. And immigration, they are just around the borders. And those DSS become the head of the police around each region. Not head directly, they don't control the regional police. It means if there's a case that interests the federal government, they defer to the DSS. The DSS and the what's it called? Chief Judge become the law of the state, of the country. The Chief Justice, the what's it called? The Attorney General prosecute the crime. The DSS chase the crime. Then we have the regional leaders. We have the regional police. People who are against regional police or state police, they are the enemy of Nigeria, because they believe if you have a regional police, or the police can be corrupt by the state governor. Excuse me, the state governor is the chief executive of the state. Is the chief security officer of the state. Is already in control of the police. And another thing I also discovered, this might shock you. Go to Edo State. The top officers of the police ranks are all from the north. Same in many of these states around Nigeria. In the west, in the south. They don't really care. Many of them don't even come to work. I know some already in Edo State. I know one of the officers that I work with said the guy don't even come to work until by Thursday is left till Tuesday. He come Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is gone. When it comes to pay, that's when you see him. He doesn't care about the security of the state. It's not a state. He doesn't care about the welfare of the people. It's not a state.
Thank you so much. Which, in your own opinion, which region do you think will experience the fastest development if peradventure Nigeria were to be separated, or there were to be a kind of a referendum that allowed each region to pay their way? Which region do you think will experience the fastest development?
All the region will grow with the speed of light because they have no one to blame. All the region will focus internally because they have no one to blame. I was watching an idiot, a bastard, the other day online, who said the oil in the east belonged to them, the Hausas in the north, because their fathers that gave them the Igbo land. Now, imagine that kind of mentality. How do you want to start reasoning with that?
Sorry, I think for the purpose of of the audience watching at home, I think it's not. You should refrain from using the word bastards and idiot. I think it's not. It's not professional. Continue.
It's not about being professional. It's a descriptive word.
Yeah.
It's not. It's a descriptive word. It's English language.
Yeah, but people might take it the other way around.
So
people who do not understand English the way you understand it might take it the wrong way. You know our people. Go ahead anyway.
I apologize for that, but it's a descriptive word. My point is not distracted from that. The man is claiming that in a country that is diverse, if we split, every region will develop with the speed of light. I'll tell you why. Because now everybody is focused internal. You have no excuse. You cannot blame the Yoruba man or the Igbo man. Neither can the Igbo man blame the Yoruba man. Neither can the Yoruba man blame the Hausa man, vis-a-vis all across the country. Then people will look internally. Resources that are within the internal strength of the state. Look at, for instance, now, I'll give you this. This is the reason why I must split. In the whole of the East, I think it's only in Port Harcourt. There are political, I don't know, lack of better word. There are everything possible. The government is doing everything possible to stopping the East from having a seaport. Why Why is it a debate to put a seaport in the east? Because they know if the east have a seaport, it will affect the west, the Lagos state, heavily. Many of the imported and majority of those importing things to Nigeria for Nigerian consumption and sell are the Igbos, the spare part market, the everything. But the same people in the West are almost in Lagos. They are saying Igbo should leave Lagos. Why? And you say we are one Nigeria. I'm not an Igbo man. I'm an Edo man, Esa man to be precise. How can people in high political position be saying such things? I don't know, even the previous election where the president wife or the king of Lagos Island said they will they will chase the Igbo. If they don't vote APC, they will chase them away from Lagos. If that was you and I in this civilized society, for the British government or somebody that if the African or the blacks don't vote certain way, they will chase them away from this country. Would we call that racism or something worse than that? We are not one Nigerian. Why is it that if there's any problem in the world that involve Muslims, the Muslim in Nigeria will be killing Christian and Southerners? Why? What in concern me and the who is not an Arab? Why is the Muslim rioting in Nigeria, killing fellow Nigerians for a thing some other country did to another country? And you say we are one Nigeria. Look at what the so-called Biafra or IPOP people did the other day. They were burning trucks, vehicles, coming from the north with goods. How are we one Nigeria? Why? Because they're crying that they should.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. We're not going to spend too much time today on this program. I think maybe we'll probably spend like 45 minutes today, or the maximum 50 minutes. Let me ask you the last question, and I'm going to also allow you to use that as your closing remark. Are there viable solutions to maintaining Nigeria as a unified nation? You can just summarize, answer the question, and add that to your closing remark. You have 2 minutes, sir.
Unless we are ready to rethink our amalgamation, if not, there's no any viable solution. I've expressed my own thought process. We need to deconstruct this country and go back to regional leadership and make the role of the vice president head of Senate chairman, not the president of Senate, not just a floating person without any major portfolio to do. Let the vice president become a legislative arm of the state. Let's dissolve the House of Rep and send it back to region. If we are not willing to do all that, let's go our separate ways. Let's divide the country. Even share the debt equally. Let it not take federal capital Abuja if that's everything to them. That's fine. And watch how every region will develop overnight. However, I don't see that happening. What I can see happening is of us having a confederated state. We are too intertwined, we are too interlinked to have to go separately. I believe in a confederated state. I believe in the system where we are regional government. If I was to become House of Rep or Senate today, I will be pushing for that, rather than the lack of better or crazy laws they are passing. National anthem change. 10 years for those who can't sing it. I will be putting this on the floor every day until we are able to discuss it fully. And the idea of having president that run every 4 years, it doesn't work for us. I will limit it to 6 years. One-off election. It's too costly and it's not necessary. 6 years. You do your 6 years, you go. It means you lose one year each from the 4 years. You have 6 years. Baba, what's his name? Jonathan Goodluck proposed that. They turned him down. Those who turned him down today should be regretting it. 6 years time, one time. You run, you win, you stay there 6 years, you do whatever you want to do, you go. Then we can truly judge you. One time president. One time. Same with governors too. One time. Do your one-time goal. And you will be able to see the efficacy of many governors and many presidents. And then, the power to impeach them. Because that time, you actually give them the power to impeach them. Things will change. If we really, really want to deconstruct and reconstruct Nigeria for greater good. If not, if we can't, let us have military government. Let us have military government. We can see with evidence what's happening in Niger, Burkina Faso, I think, and Mali as well. They're having a great time. The country is developing the speed of light. Can you now tell me democracy was better for them than what they have now? Look at Gaddafi. Before the West assassinated him, Libya was the oyster of Africa. Now it's destroyed, run by the West terrorists.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We have almost come to the end of today's segment on face-to-face program. Let me say, for the purpose of this program and for the purpose of history, for the sake of history as well, GCSDN does not support the division of Nigeria. For me, I still believe in a united Nigeria, despite all the current challenges facing the country. Yes, there are incompetent leaders in power who lack the basic knowledge, and there are individuals holding position with forged certificate, unsure of how they obtain their power. Nevertheless, I maintain hope that one day God would bless us with a leader like Captain Ibrahim Traore, who will govern the nation effectively, uphold the principles laid down by the founding fathers. Until then, let's keep faith in one nation called Nigeria. I thank you and God bless you. Good night, everyone. Thank you, my brother.
Good night, brother.